but the Jewish are planning to take over the world. The Jewish are planning to take over the world if they find it.
The Jewish are planning on taking over the world?
Yeah, if they find the
Follow the money, you follow the banks, and it's so obvious what the whole plan is. But what's less obvious is what do we do about it? We're bombarded with so much divisive psychology, so much of this Superman mentality that we, the normal people, can't take action in our own hands. We need some figure, some leader to do it for us. This is a part of an elaborate plan. All of that is designed so that we don't come together, but it's actually quite simple. Here's a quick little story. 2015, a group of us came together. We said, all right, this area is a lot of work that needs done. There's poverty, there's heroin epidemic, there are children growing up without families and children being stolen from their families. There are drastic polarities in extraordinary wealth in nearby towns and extreme poverty in these local towns. How can we address this? Number one, we decided, what are other groups doing about it? We joined about 6 other groups, a couple church groups, a couple labor groups, a couple volunteer help groups, and food pantries. One time we went to the soup kitchen too, and that was good, but they were getting their food from Walmart, so I didn't want to stay there. And workers who were working for Walmart were eating at the soup kitchen. Yeah. So, because Walmart obviously does not pay them enough. But they're going to help out by giving their old produce, right? So that's a good example of controlled opposition. We found one group. They are they're kind of creepy, and they don't have the warm culture, and there's a reason for that. But they taught us some good methods. They taught us, number one, given it's pretty much bad to just give out food. That's what the government does. Just give out food and don't explain why you don't have food. It's actually how we genocided the Native Americans in the last 100 years. I just remember reading a report a couple months ago. They dammed up a big river in the South, so all the agriculture of this one Native American reservation failed. So they just, all right, we're going to ship in Spam and grape juice. And now all the people there are dying of diabetes, things like that. So they taught us, I mean, this is a no-brainer, but they were doing it in practice. They've been around for 40 years. They were doing good. Again, they just haven't had the snowball effect because they don't have the warm culture that attracts everyone. As soon as someone steps in the door, like, all right, yeah, can you do this? This. You want to do this? You want to sign up here? Hey, we're going to call you tomorrow. We're going to call you next day. That's crazy, and that's not how people are in this day and age. So as soon as I met up with these guys, I'm like, all right, that's a big turnoff. But that's also something, seeing what other groups around you are doing. What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? So we took that. We took the religious groups. Several of them went around and just talked to people that they knew over and over and over again about things that were irrelevant to the causes of the suffering in the community, and more important, the community's natural strengths. Gardening, economic boycotts, city councils not allowing the various gas stations to have all these incentives, instead giving them to local businesses, so on and so forth. There's many, many things we can do. So we decided, all right, what's working? We should have a food pantry because that's a good little base of operations. We got office space donated to us from one of these, from networking through all these different community organizing groups. We're like, sweet, we're going to start there when the next college semester starts, because the college kids got more time and resources than the high school kids, and it just helps out. So we did. We started a food pantry. That spring loaded us into our garden program that spring. Tons of people just came to us, and then we did an eventual canvas door-to-door knocking, asking for garden land. And we got way more than we could even handle. We were asking for about an acre of individual plots. We got 5 in the first year. I mean, we would have got more, but we just stopped asking because we had so much. So we organized little squads to go out, break the earth, what to plant. We kept it simple. The 3 sister system: beans, corn, squash, potatoes, the things that are hardy and easy to grow. The next year, we specialized more. We got more kales, more mints, more herbs that treat other things, garlic. We tried ginger, didn't work. So we tried to expand, and building this garden system wasn't just about giving out food. It wasn't just about, trying to make people a little healthier. It wasn't just about saying, hey, it was showing that people care, that we can do a lot with a little. No one was giving us money. Now I have a car, and so did other people, and it's very difficult. It would have been a much more difficult to do what we did in the rural area without a car because we had to move around quite a bit. But with that said, with just a bunch of people's compassion, limited resources, and donations, not money. We people actually did, just when we were asking for food outside of Walmart, they did come up and just start giving us money. We got like on Thanksgiving we got like $100 one day, and then every other day they just cut. We got like 5 days when we went out. We got like a treasury of like $300, which we never really needed, except it was nice to get new shovels and that kind of things. Although we already had that kind of equipment too. So in other words, just an example of people, whatever they can give, whatever they can do. Most people in my community are very elderly, and many of them are disabled for various reasons. A lot of veterans, we were a factory town, a lot of factory disabilities, pollution. I'm a cancer survivor. Many people around here have the same kinds of cancer because of all the nasty asbestos and pollution. We're in a river valley, and they dump crap here forever. So we helped alleviate a need of hunger. We helped bring people together. We showed people the power. Like, look at all this land that these young kids just don't. And we're like, no, it's not just us. We all pitched in for this. All the word of mouth spread, all the support we got, all the resources. That was the power of the community. And from there spring loads the political power. From that recognition that the community can do something out of nothing. Now ask, well, what can we do when we're a community of about 14,000. When we knocked on 1,000 households' doors, that's about how many houses we reached in our first summer of canvassing. All right, that was only with a core group of 8 canvassers. We have a volunteer rotating list anywhere from 20 to 40, depending on the season, of like core youth volunteers. But at that same time, when we went out and do our little missions, it's smaller groups than that, like the canvassing, but we still reached huge percentages of the households easily. If we did that with a political message, sky is the limit. We did this free on our own volition and our own free time with no money. Just considering resources, because again, I have resources. My community, we are very poor, but there are resources here. For example, the college has free paper pretty much. You're not supposed to use that much, but so the flyers we were giving out, we give out thousands of flyers, and I worked at Staples. If you got a really good printer for like $300 a laser, paper's kind of expensive. 3,000 flyers would be at least, I'm talking black and white, $20 to $60. So just thinking about this, you don't need flyers necessarily. You don't even necessarily need a car or to buy a new shovel, because all that stuff is available. There are people who want to give that. There are people with printers who would help print. All these things can be sourced locally. I'm bringing forth just that we had some advantages that made this kind of seamless and made a lot of this easy. And so if you do not have these, these are other things to source. The vehicles are pretty important, and especially when you start without a vehicle, that's it's an obstacle. So these are just things to consider. There's no obstacle we can't overcome, especially when we have each other. Because again, if you don't have a printer, you don't have a car. I didn't have a shovel. Well, Mr. Jones did, and Ricky over there, he had the seeds, and Uncle Al, he's the one who had the tractor to till up the land, who also donated a plot of his land, who was right next to our food pantry. So we got to give out free veggies from Uncle Al's plot right next to the food pantry once a week. And all these other plots, we had one right next to the largest produce in town. We had one on the other side of town. So it was regionalized. It was set up. A lot of people are involved. And that, again, this is just a synergy. This just gets the juices flowing that have been separate from us for so long, that we have a community of people who care, who, yeah, the old people don't like the young people smoking cigarettes. All of them do. So we're not going to say, you can't smoke, you're a bad kid, get out of here. No. The kids are going to smoke cigarettes. Let them smoke while we're growing healthy vegetables. What are we going to make them go under the bridge where the dope fiends are? No. There are problems. We're not going to sweep them under the rug. We're going to bring light to them and say, hey, problems are real. We still love each other. Everyone makes mistakes. I had cancer and almost died. My parents still smoke. Drives me nuts. Drives me nuts. My dad got a tumor removed from his neck last year, and he's still smoking like a chimney. Drives me nuts. But he'll eat the garlic when I give it to him, and slowly but surely he's coming for nature walks with me to pick the wild mushrooms, and slowly but surely we're moving along to get healthier. He wants to quit smoking, and all these kids want to quit smoking, and smoking's not the point. The point is that we are creating an environment where people feel comfortable to come and be themselves, and in that environment where we're doing productive things, giving out food. I mean, not just giving out, growing it, making it, learning about it, teaching everyone. We had kids from 4 because we got kids that are 20 that got kids, and we're all doing it together, teaching how to eat vegetables, how to cook vegetables, how to give them out, how we have political power. All these beautiful things are being taught, learned. A counterculture is being established while we're together. And while we're together, we're like a magnet. More people come and more people come. And we have a critical mass in a small town, in a city, political power like that. Shutting down the war factories like that. Rearranging the school systems and the police departments so that all the corruption is out like that. Same with the courts. There is a corruption problem everywhere, and the people who are affected by the corruption most are the middle class, the working class, and especially the poor. And those are the 3 arms, that's 95% of the population there, that we need to unite. The other guys are going to come help us too. They're good people in all classes. I am pretty harsh on the rich. I know good rich people. Their money still comes from our people dying. We cannot deny that. If you own stock portfolios, if you trade commodities that are mined from the Rothschild, Rio Tinto in Africa, at the end of the day, the money, if you get real, when I got a paycheck from Staples Corporation, where's that money coming from? So being real, the people at the highest end of the food chain, they have the most responsibility to bear. But with that said, we have so much power. And this is my story to you about how in a rural area to be successful, and just how it really lights the spark of unity. Political and economic power come after the idea of solidarity. How we get there is humanizing each other, validating we have a problem, and even if it's not going to solve them all, we're not bringing back our hospital, unfortunately. We're not solving Mrs. Jenkins' cancer right away, but bringing people together to eat healthy vegetables, to de-stress, to realize that's going to prevent the next Mrs. Jenkins. It's going to help reduce her next cancer. It's going to show when somebody is in need that, well, there is a community that can provide them healthy vegetables. It's going to show that next time there's an election, it's not going to be the jerks from the school committees and the police departments and the hospitals that have always pointed their nose down at the poor scumbags. No, it's going to be one of us poor scumbags, one of their brothers and sisters who are not poor scumbags, but are people, our family. And that's the power we have when we're together. So let me know what you guys think. It's just a little example. We'll get more technical as we go along. And we're going to have to focus more on city organizing, because cities are where the machine, the beast, is really active. And that's where the real strikes need to happen. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Take care.